It is a beautiful fall day. We're at the end of October, almost the end. The leaves are falling and they're colorful. They look just as pretty on the ground as they did on the trees. The goaty girls are enjoying their fall day, eating leaves. Hey girls! Hey little chicks. Little chickies. Hi bunnies. Bunnies are enjoying the leaves too. Hi Mickey. Hi Sally. You guys liking the leaves in there? All right, it's time to prep the garden for fall. So we're gonna put a few things on the garden, and today we're gonna put what on?
Alfalfa
Pellets.
pellets.
Yep. So alfalfa pellets are a really good natural fertilizer. So we're gonna just sprinkle those around, and then we are going to later put some compost manure on, and then we're gonna rake a bunch of leaves on when the leaves fall down. So Carter's gonna help me put alfalfa on today.
Let's go get the alfalfa.
Okay, so Carter,
Here we go.
you can either use your scoop and scoop some of it and fling it like this, or you can use your hand and fling it like this, whatever you
I'm
want
gonna
to do.
use my scoop. Scoopy doopy.
Okay, so we just want to put it everywhere. Let's put a little bit more on the end here, and then we'll go over to the other garden.
Yeah.
What do you think, Carter?
That's good.
All right, come here. High five. Yeah, good job done. Okay, so Carter helped me put the alfalfa pellets on the garden, and I just have a few more things to put on before the winter sets in. It's a very beautiful day out today, so it's a good day to do this. So one product that I use is this azomite. And this is just a minerals. So I'm going to put that on. It's like rock dust minerals, and I'm going to put that on. And then the other one that I'm going to put on is milky spore. And the reason that I'm putting the milky spore on, it's like a bacteria type of thing. The reason I'm putting that on is because of the Asian beetles. Never used to have Asian beetles until about 3 years ago, and then they were just horrible. They just like completely covered my green bean hoops, like hundreds of them, and it was really miserable being out here with all of them. Plus they really destroyed the plants too. So I started using this last year. I think I put it on twice last year, and it really did help. It goes into the ground, and the grub will eat the bacteria and it'll kill them, and then they'll disperse the bacteria themselves. You're supposed to put it on every 4 inches in the garden. So I did that twice, and it really made it. I still had Asian beetles this summer, but not near as bad as what I normally had. So I'm gonna do it again. It's kind of expensive. Like this bag is like $50. So I wouldn't do it if we didn't have the Asian beetles. That's the only reason that I'm using that for. Besides the alfalfa and the rock dust, the azomite minerals, then we'll put down some compost from our goat rabbit poop and hay compost pile that we had back there that's all broke down so nicely. I'm going to put that down, and then I'm going to rake some leaves and put a nice thick layer of leaves on the garden at the end of the summer. And then in the spring, after all the snow is on there all winter and everything, and it gets all disintegrated down and everything, and in the spring, Bob goes in and tills it and gets that all tilled in, and it makes the soil really nice and fluffy and full of nutrients. So that was what I did last fall. I put those products down, and I had just like a super fantastic garden this summer. The addition I had last year, or this spring, I put down the goat poop and hay and rabbit poop and hay compost. That was my addition this spring. I had the best garden this summer that I probably had for quite a few years. So I know that that made a good addition to it. So these things I'm putting down are just going to help replenish the soil that used so much energy this summer with all the plants and everything. And then, you know, we'll let it set over the winter. And then after we till it up in the spring, I do put down some, you know, fertilizer, kind of the same thing I actually do in the spring as I do in the fall. So it seems kind of redundant, but I want to give it back as much nutrition as I can to get it nice and healthy for the next year. So first of all, I'm going to put down this milky spore. Okay, after reading instructions better, I thought I had purchased a powder because that's what I had before, but this is actually granular, and it looks like it's the same material, only in the granules that you can use for your yard. The powder was to do a teaspoon every 4 inches, but the granular you spread. And it looks like 1 pound covers 350 square feet. So I figure my gardens are probably each about 450 square feet, maybe a little bit more. So if I use a third of this bag between the 2 gardens, then I will be using approximately the right amount. So this is going to make it much easier, actually. I'm just going to do a little spread, and I'll kind of watch how much I'm using to make sure I don't overdo it. So I'm going to just start out, and I'm just going to lightly sprinkle, and then I can tell by how much I'm using by the time I get done with this garden, when I move to the other garden, if I'm using the correct amount or not. Now, got this milky spore down, and I'm just going to sprinkle the azomite down, which is, once again, it's rock mineral from volcanic soil, and it just provides some nice minerals that the soil will need. So I just do a little sprinkle just upon the garden, and I do this in the fall and in the spring. Sometimes in the spring, instead of doing this, when I plant the garden, I'll just put it in each row. I think that's what I did last year. So I'm not real particular about exactly how much I'm putting down. I'm just giving the soil a little bit of good mineral and energy. So I'll get this done, and then I'll go do the other 2 gardens, and then all that's left is the compost, the leaves, and to plant my garlic. Okay, so before I finish covering completely with leaves, I'm planting my garlic, which I know is late. Just have not been able to get it done. So I made 3 trenches, and just kind of zigzagged the garlic in the trenches. Pointy side up. I'm going to cover it up with the soil, and then I'll cover it up with a few inches of leaves, and we'll be good to go. So better late than never. Okay, well, I ran out of time for the garden. I did not get my wonderful compost put on the garden this year. We ended up just having a really bad weather spell. We woke up to 4 inches of snow on Halloween morning. So it did take about 3 days to melt, and it had melted, but it's just getting too late and too cold. We don't have time to do that. So I spent yesterday raking and getting some leaves on the garden, and that's just going to have to be good enough. And then in the spring, early spring, like beginning of April, or as soon as we can get in here, we'll till all these leaves in and let them compost some more. And then by the time it's time for us to plant, like at the end of May, they'll be broken down, and it'll be just make the earth nice and airy, and then we can add a bunch of compost on top of it. So that's going to be good enough for this year. So it's just time to let my garden rest and rejuvenate over the winter, and time for me to finish the rest of the winter prep that I need to finish. So thank you, garden, for all you provided for us. It was a wonderful garden year, and I'm really looking forward to the next year.